Today at Walmart, I ended up picking up Chaos Rising and Perfect Order um, booster or packs. The Perfect Order one happened to have a little coin wizard and an extra promo card, if you will. My friend likes Snorlax, so she wanted to get the pack just for the coin and in the hopes that maybe you should see a Snorlax card. So I figured I'd get the other pack that was just set off on the shelf. You know, some parent probably put there because they didn't want to get it for their kid or for some reason. So let's see what we have good from the Chaos Rising. Well, we have a Zubat, which I feel like in a lot of caves in the video games you end up running into 1,000. It's you take a step, Zubat. Take a step, Zubat. Uh, 40 HP, and then the move is Supersonic. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Then we have Ferroseed. 70 HP. The move is Rolling Tackle, which does 40 damage. Witello, 70 HP, and its move is Tackle, which does 10 damage. Watchog, 100 HP. First move is Snap Inspection. Flip 3 coins. If any of them are heads, your opponents reveal their hand. For each head, choose a card you find there and shuffle it into your opponent's deck. The second move is Low Kick, which does 50 damage. Golisopod, which a lot of most of the other ones were basic, but the Watchog was a base or stage 1. The Golisopod was also a stage 1. It has 140 HP. Its first move is Critical Slash, which does 30 damage. If your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to this Pokemon. Second attack is Boundless Power, which does 150 damage. During your next turn, this Pokemon can't attack, which seems like a trade-off. 150 damage is a lot to then not attack next turn. Then we have a trainer card, Emma. Your opponents reveal their hand and you draw a card for each Pokemon you find there. Deoxys. It's 120 HP. Psy Spear, which does 120 damage. If this Pokemon has at least 2 extra energy attached to it, in addition to the attack's cost, this attack also does 120 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. don't apply weakness and resistance to the bench Pokemon. So, where it costs 3 energy to do the attack, if you had 2 extra energy, so a total of 5, it would deal, the 120 damage to, the one Pokemon you're attacking, and then 120 to a bench Pokemon, and you're not applying, strength or resistance, which is, potentially good. This one's a foil Remoraid, 70 HP, and Sharp Fin for the attack, which does 20 damage. And then a foil Theranos, it's 130 HP. Geostorm for the attack, which the damage is 30 times. This attack does 30 damage for each, and that's the psychic symbol, energy attached to all of your Pokemon. And then we have a foil Nitro Energy. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides, and then it's the fire symbol, energy. If this card is discarded by an effect of an attack used by fire Pokemon this card is attached to, put this card into your hand after attack, damage, and effects. And then we have the basic energy electric one. So kind of interesting. And then let's open up the package with a couple of extras in addition to the pack. It's kind of interesting, the promo, the Mekuita is a fighting type Pokemon, and the Snorlax coin, Snorlax is a normal type Pokemon, so just, the promo card, it would be, have the, strength or the typing advantage against Snorlax. Okay, so Saladin, it's 70 HP, Fire Claws for the attack, which does 20 damage. Scatterbug, it has 40 HP, Gnaw for the attack, which does 20 damage. And look at that, the pack we got because of the coin happened to actually have a Snorlax in it. 160 for HP. Gormadiz for the first attack. Flip a coin until you get tails. Search your deck for an amount of basic energy up to the number of heads and attach it to this Pokemon. Then shuffle your deck. And then the second attack is Collapse, which does 160 damage. This Pokemon is now asleep. So the damage the attack does is equal to its HP, but then to your opponent, and then it, is asleep. So, Esper 60 HP. Nap is the first attack. Heal 20 damage from this Pokemon. Stampede is the second attack, which does 10 damage. And then we have Meowistic, which is a stage 1 Pokemon, and it almost looks like Esper is supposed to be the the basic Pokemon for this, but I'm not familiar really with these Pokemon where there's now over 1,000 Pokemon, and I was mostly played a lot of the first few generations where there was less Pokemon. So it has 100 HP. Perplex is the first attack. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Psychic is the second attack. It does 30 plus damage. This attack does 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So, that's an interesting way of, base damage is 30, and then, how much energy is attached to your opponent's active Pokemon determines how much extra damage is being done. We have a trainer card, Luminois City. Once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for a basic Pokemon and put it onto their bench. Then that player shuffles their deck. If a player searches their deck this way, their turn ends. Barbalcull, which is a stage 1 Pokemon. It has 130 HP. Its ability is Stone Arms. Once during your turn, you may use this ability. Attach a basic, and it's the fighting symbol, energy card from your hand to one of your, and then fighting symbol Pokemon. And the attack is Hammer In. It does 80 damage. And we have a foil Fletching, which has 60 HP. Chirp for the first attack. Search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon with, it's the fighting symbol, resistance, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Peck is the second attack, which does 20 damage. And we have a foil Barbalcull, which is interesting because we had one earlier in the pack, so you already know what the ability and attack is. Then we have a foil Aurus, which is a stage 2 Pokemon, has 170 HP. The ability is Tundra Wall. All of your Pokemon that have any, and that's the water symbol, energy attached, take 50 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon after applying weakness and resistance. This effect of Tundra Wall doesn't stack. So even though it doesn't stack, 50 less damage is obviously helpful when you're talking about higher damage attacks. Freezing Chill is the attack, does 150 damage. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't use attacks. So not only is the attack doing a lot of damage, your opponent can't use attacks on their next turn. And then the basic energy is a grass. So hopefully you found this somewhat interesting, a Chaos Rising, and a Perfect Order pack that came with a Snorlax coin. So check in for some more trading card game videos and some video game related videos. Thanks and have a good day.